Zambia's energy story is changing. From the mighty Kariba to the solar rooftops lighting up our communities, it is time to power the conversation that is driving innovation, sustainability, and opportunity.
On part of this season, we go further, bring you expert insights, community breakthroughs, and great ideas from all 10 provinces.
From renewable solutions to green finance, from innovation to inspiration, we are empowering Zambia through knowledge and innovation.
Join us every Thursday at 19:30 hours for Power Talk, the energy conversation.
Power Talk, empowering Zambia through knowledge and innovation.
Only on Zanis TV, the People's Channel. Hello and welcome to Season 2 Power Talk. My name is Elizabeth Changofo. Imagine a home where the sun doesn't just light up your day, but also powers your nights and even earns you electricity in return. Across Zambia, more households and businesses are turning to solar, not just as a backup during load shedding, but as a smart way to take control of their energy needs. Now, with government introducing net metering, that extra power generated at home is no longer wasted. It can be fed back into the national grid. The next 2 episodes on Power Talk will explore how net metering is changing lives, easing pressure on the grid, and even giving consumers a new role, not just as users of electricity, but as producers too. Today we feature Paul Kalumba, a Lusaka businessman, but before that, here is the national utility explaining what net metering is all about.
So the net metering program was signed into law through a statutory instrument in 2024, June of 2024. And ZESCO launched officially the net metering program as a utility in August of 2024. So net metering really is it's a system that allows customers who have installed their own renewable systems, such as solar, or primarily solar. I think that is what is predominant. It can be at residential level at their homes. It can be at commercial, industrial level. So it allows these customers to install this system primarily for their own consumption or their own use. And any excess power that they generate, they push that back into the grid, or they sell that back to the grid, and they're compensated for the energy exports. So why that is important, I think there are a couple of reasons. Number one, it's obviously it relieves pressure on the national grid. Because when customers are more independent or more reliant on their own energy needs, it means that they are not requesting much power from the grid, and thus they relieve pressure from the grid. That is one. The second one obviously speaks to government's initiatives, primarily with, I think, the presidential pronouncement that we should onboard or connect up to over 1,000 megawatts, right now about 1,600 megawatts of solar. I think that is the target. So those are renewable energy sources that we're bringing on board, connected to the grid. So by connecting net metering customers, we're indirectly connecting more renewable energy sources to the grid. When we started off, I think the pace was quite slow, but it picked up, I think, after management sought or believe that we could do more to spread awareness on net metering. So sometime last year, I think beginning of last year, 2025, ZESCO began running a promotion on net metering. So that promotion requires that the customer doesn't have to pay anything. It's pretty much free. The customer just applies and they get connected. So after that, I think net metering program ramped up quite fast. So we made huge strides, particularly after that pronouncement. In terms of progress, I think we have onboarded hundreds of customers. I think we're sitting at about 21 megawatts or so of customers that have installed their own solar grid-tied systems. And to put that into perspective, 21 megawatts is about 7% of the total solar grid tied systems that are connected, even at grid scale level. So if you talk of the Zambia Solar's, CEC's solar initiatives, collectively net metering makes up 7% of the total renewable energy integration to the national grid. The number one benefit, I would say, is the energy bill, reducing your energy bill, how much you spend on units in a month. I wish I could pull this up quickly for you, Victor. I'll just quickly pull this up. So I bought units this month. I myself am on net metering. I'm a net metering customer, so I export to the grid and ZESCO compensates me. So if you can see, this past month, I exported quite a lot. So I bought units for 10 kwacha and I got 432 kwacha. Sorry, 432 units. Another advantage I would say for customers is independence or redundancy. I always tell people, they're saying, why do you have two numbers or two phones, maybe Airtel or MTN? It's for redundancy purposes. Maybe if you're in an area where there's no MTN network, there's Airtel, you're able to use it, and vice versa. So similarly, if you're at home and you have supply from ZESCO, sometimes there might be a fault on the line, or ZESCO might be carrying out maintenance on the line, or it could be even load management or load shedding. You will have that backup system to cover yourself during those outages. So that is how I see it. So that is equally another benefit to the customer.
Zambia's energy story is changing. From the mighty Kariba to the solar rooftops lighting up our communities. It is time to power the conversation that is driving innovation, sustainability, and opportunity.
On Power Talk this season, we go further, bring you expert insights, community breakthroughs, and great ideas from all 10 provinces.
From renewable solutions to green finance, from innovation to inspiration, we are empowering Zambia through knowledge and innovation.
Join us every Thursday at 19:30 hours for Power Talk, the energy conversation.
Power Talk, empowering Zambia through knowledge and innovation.
Only on Zanis TV, the People's Channel. So while ZESCO says net metering is helping reduce pressure on the grid and bringing more renewable energy into the system, what does this really mean for net metering customers? Here is Paul Kalumba, a Lusaka resident who has embraced solar energy and is now feeding excess power back into the grid.
My name is Paul Yandisha Kalumba. I'm obviously a consumer of energy, be it fuel or electricity. I am based in Lusaka. I'm a businessman, and here where we are, this is my home. 90% of the time, I work from home. 10% of the time, if I've got meetings and things like that, then I go to my office at Central Park on Cairo Road. But I work from here. So the initial motivation was actually to have a reliable source of power for my monitoring of my business. That's what took me into solar. But as things happened, I started with a want. It became a need because we went into an era when we had this drought, and we began to have long hours of load shedding. Therefore, it wasn't just for work anymore, but for truly survival of the house. Now, if you work from home, you want to be sure that your internet, your computers, your air cons, they are working and all that. So I began to upgrade my system to be able to have all these things working at home. This meant increasing the number of solar panels that I have. Currently I'm using 24 solar panels. Upgrading the inverter I use. I'm using a 16 kV inverter currently, and it's a smart inverter because you can connect to it using your phone and all that. But here's a bonus that comes up. This government decides that we can do net metering, meaning what I'm producing, for example, currently, if you were to look at my app, you'll see that I'm only using about 3,000 kilowatts, or 3 kilowatts on my home. But my solar panels can produce around 9,000 to 10,000 watts of power. So those solar panels, I've already invested in them. They are there. Whether I use it or not, they can produce that much. So what the system does now is that when it has satisfied my need in the house, it then reroutes this excess into the grid. So some of my neighbors here, without knowing, they are surely using some of the power that is being produced at my house. And what is nice about that, ZESCO is giving me credit for that. So when I need to get ZESCO units myself, I no longer have to buy, because there's always credit coming out of the excess solar that I'm producing and feeding to the grid. I think it's a blessing that we went through this phase, painful as it has been, of load shedding. But what it has taught us is that you can actually, produce your own power to your own capacity, be able to use, and in fact, be productive and contribute to the country. So for those that can afford, if we could all connect in this manner, we would be helping ourselves. I don't want to say helping ZESCO. We are not helping ZESCO. We are the citizens. We are helping ourselves by doing this. So I've seen, like when I started initially, I basically had just my inverter and batteries. So I would store power for me to use when there's no power. But now with the net metering that has been introduced, it means I can produce more and be able to be a part of the solution by supplying whatever little to the grid. So even if it was 1,000, 2,000 Zambians that can afford to do that, and believe you me, there are several others who already have solar systems installed, but the excess is just being lost when it could be fed to the grid. So I would encourage very much that people consider connecting their existing systems to the ZESCO grid so that we can feed back to the grid. From ZESCO's point of view, one, we're in that phase where they dropped the charges. Initially, there were charges for you to connect and all that. But now, they are allowing you to connect without paying those charges. It's best to take advantage while we're in this phase where it costs you almost nothing really to connect to their system. You do everything, they'll send their engineers to come and inspect your system, that it was installed according to standard specifications. Once they're satisfied, then they will link you to the ZESCO system. You can apply online. You don't need to go to ZESCO. If you go to their website, they actually have a place where you can apply for net metering. So you'd enter all the details they want, upload the documents they need, and from there they process. On ZESCO's part, they've been taking quite longer than I anticipated. We are anxious as citizens. When you apply, you want to quickly be responded to and connected. I think that's one area ZESCO needs to improve. Secondly, their system is still manual, meaning every month there's still some communication between myself as a supplier and them before they credit me. But this system is supposed to be in such a way that automatically the system picks what I've supplied to ZESCO and they automatically credit me without prompting from the client. Exactly. So those are the two areas that ZESCO quickly needs to improve on. Automate the crediting aspect rather than wait for the client to claim, if you like, for his units.
Paul Kalumba's experience highlights both the promise and the practical challenges of net metering, from delayed responses to the need for more automated system. But how is ZESCO responding to these concerns?
With every initiative, there will always be challenges, and it's about overcoming those challenges now that see us right through. We as I indicated, we launched the program in August of 2024, fresh off a new statutory instrument in June. And this was a first in Zambia. It was never done before. It hasn't been done before. So it was a learning curve for both the utility and also for customers as well. So so some of the challenges that we faced obviously was because we also had to do capacity building amongst ourselves. That then caused delays when it came to maybe site assessments, or attending to customer queries, because we had to carry out our own internal capacity building. And as we got there, we started catching up. In terms of operational issues, mainly, I would say, because it was a new system in ZESCO as well, we've started off with a manual system. So the entire process was being done manually from the time that the customer applies all the way up until we connect the customer and we build a customer. And slowly we had started working on systems. We worked on the application system, which we automated, but the remaining process has remained manual. So because of manual systems, Victor, you and I know that manual systems are not as effective or reliant. They always cause delays, but because we were reliant on manual systems, there were some delays when it came to attending to customer queries, customer complaints. But I would want to add that we are carrying out mitigation measures. As we transition to an automated system, of course, that automated system requires resources as well. But we're pleased to advise that we've reached an advanced stage with the systems that we're working on, and soon the entire process will be automated. But in the interim, what management did, ZESCO management, was that we formed a PIU, a project implementation unit, specifically just from net metering to start with, and that then developed into a full department under the Planning and Projects Directorate. So having dedicated staff, dedicated resources to net metering, saw us speed up some of these processes. So one of the issues we're looking at is, apart from those operational issues, there are also some technical issues as well. So some of those technical issues, we look at compatibility of customers' equipment. So not all inverters or not all equipment is able to export excess power back into the grid. You need specialized inverters called grid-tied or on-grid inverters. So some of the challenges that we had encountered on the technical side was that some customers that would apply, a lot of customers that would apply would have the wrong equipment, or they'll be installed in a poor fashion. They would use it wouldn't be in a standard that would be acceptable by ourselves. So what we are doing now, some of the future plans are that, not necessarily future, but some plans that we are implementing and also looking at towards the future is we are working with suppliers of equipment, we're working with distributors of equipment. Last year, I think we signed an MOU partnership with MICMA. So MICMA, we work in collaboration with MICMA, who supply and distribute equipment, and of course we carry out sensitization and training collectively. So MICMA is an example, and we have other entities as well who we are working with. So the idea is that even as customers approach these suppliers of solar equipment, that they should be able to get the correct equipment, the correct advice, technicians who are qualified to install this. So what we foresee now is, as there's a solar explosion going on, we want people to be equipped with the right knowledge when it comes to what equipment to buy, what benefits they will get from it. Secondly, we're also trying to put ourselves out there when it comes to net metering, such as collaboration with Zanis as well and other platforms, media platforms. We're trying to hear the ZESCO voice heard when it comes to net metering. We're trying to get the message out there that this thing is not a myth. It's actually working, and people are benefiting from it, as I showed you through the units that I'm getting. So I would say that those are the immediate to future term plans. In terms of medium to long term plans, of course, I mentioned the automation of the program. We are working to automate the system. That should be medium to long term. Actually, this should be imminent. In terms of long term plans, I would say that on a technical point of view, I don't know if you're familiar, but when you have cloud cover and you've installed solar, you find that the amount of power that you get from your system drops when there's cloud cover, when it's raining. So equally, the grid feels that impact when there's cloud cover, when it's raining. So that brings what we call instability to the network. So we're also actively working on the technical standpoint or technical front to implement a system that will be able to manage such disturbances, so that we can seemingly connect these installations and have a good ecosystem collectively.
Net metering is still in its early days in Zambia, but already is redefining how we think about electricity, from consumption to contribution. For now, the power of the sun is not just lighting homes, it's shaping the future of energy in Zambia. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Elizabeth Changofo. Thank you for watching Power Talk.
Zambia's energy story is changing. From the mighty Kariba to the solar rooftop